I, the soul, sit on the seat of self-respect before experiencing self-sovereignty. I have to create or sit on the seat of self-respect. It's only once in entire cycle it happens that God Himself give us our self-respect. A human being will give you respect based on your status, your position, your wealth, your personality. But God gives the self-respect of His own qualities to us. Whatever He is, because we are His children, we have to create awareness of what titles Baba gives us and create that as self-respect. That's where the sanskars of sovereignty emerges. One who has self-respect, which Baba has given, where there is no ego. So that self-respect becomes my unshakable, immovable stage. And I am able to maintain my true awareness in this self-respect. So take every title of Baba and then Baba calls us master. So look at yourself seated on this self-respect, seat of self-respect. And you experience close relationship with Baba, helps you to emerge original deity sanskars. So sit on the seat of self-respect that I am a pure soul. And I also have to be master purifier. Now we take drishti from Baba and stay in the self-respect of purity. Purity is my dignity, is my honor. and all virtues emerge from purity. Taking drishti, becoming stable in quality of purity.
Om Shanti, welcome to Avyakti Parivar. Today is the day 3 for our 21 days Bhakti. Self-sovereignty title is Purifier Father, Elevated Sanskar, Reformed Character. So now we'll be listening from Mohini Didi.
Om Shanti. I'm sure each one of you entertaining yourself by keeping chart, right? It's the entertainment, no? All the time during day, our attention goes towards our cooperative companions, mind, intellect, and sanskars. And we, few times a day, sit on the throne of self-sovereignty. That is why we have shown throne, no? How many of you sit on the throne during day? And also wear the crown of sovereignty, self-sovereignty. To feel that Baba has given me this crown of self-sovereignty, one is to become self-sovereign, other is Baba puts crown on you, but then we take off crown how many times a day? If you are not used to crown, right? Someone puts crown, Baba puts crown, and I say, oh no, I remove it. And that removing crown, in other words, that one of our cooperative companion doesn't allow my stage to be consistent and stable. Because when companion is not cooperative, let's say today I find that intellect was not cooperative. So I have to take off the crown of self-sovereignty. So today we are thinking about Baba as the one who is purifier and father, purifier father. No one in the world could make soul pure. It's only when Baba comes, he talks about purity of soul. In that, what is very, very subtle energy which can help mind, intellect, and sanskar to be of that quality of purity, which inspires others also to become pure. And that is change or purity of our vritti. Now, if I say in English, generally they will say attitude. But attitude is also formed based on vritti. Like we form certain attitudes towards people, towards situations, our opinions we form. So vritti is something more subtle, where deeply I believe in something, that this is right, even if it's not right, but I have total belief in that. And that belief makes you think in that way. So Baba has given us the way to cleanse our vritti towards people or situations with the practice of soul consciousness. So my vritti, which really dominates and influence mind intellect. So my vritti changes by soul consciousness. It's really, really good practice. In our intellect, yes, we know all our souls, but it's still this one, that one, so and so. Now, let's say if there is a person who is very ordinary, doesn't have position, doesn't have money, and then there is a other person who has everything. So when you look at both, when you look at soul consciousness, you will look at ordinary ones with elevated vision. Now, what will happen? Your elevated vision will help that soul to become elevated. You know, Baba says, as is your drishti, so is your srishti or world. And I look at other one who has everything in soul consciousness. My good wishes are that that soul should be able to use all specialities or resources in worthwhile way to create great fortune. So you are changing, helping to change ordinary into most elevated, and most elevated or those who are uh, have something extraordinary remain that way forever. So when there is in my vritti is soul consciousness, you will know that vritti through your drishti. And now is the time, I think, for my own self and for the world's service. Lot can be done through drishti. Why we all like to take drishti from Baba? Because when we take drishti, we forget body, and then Baba takes the soul to its eternal and original stage, bodiless, and then I start experiencing my heavenly, my deity form, where I have all the treasures of peace, love, everything. So what Baba's drishti do to us? And actually he doesn't do, because this is what he is. So when he gives drishti, we all experience that. So for us also, I sit on the throne and use the vritti and drishti of soul consciousness towards everyone so that souls can forget everything connected with body and soul can feel that I am moving towards my eternal and original state. So Baba, Father as purifier, is purifying our vritti and drishti through consciousness, soul consciousness, my elevated stage consciousness. So this is really now at this time as world servers also, but then first to claim self-sovereignty, I transform and then from that stage serve the souls. Whether I am seeing a person or soul or I'm speaking knowledge or even otherwise. I'm doing interaction, conversation, but the awareness deeply within is every soul is God's child. Every soul is pure and peaceful. Because this is our return journey, no? Originally what we were, we have to return to that stage. And always remember whatever you're doing, whether through vritti or drishti, it's first not towards others, for my own self. Really, you don't have to do for anyone else because once what you are, that's what you give, no? I don't have to be kind. If I am kind hearted, I will be kind. I can't say sometimes my words are kind, sometimes they are not. Sometimes I am generous, sometimes not. You will be that because that's what you are. So that is why whatever Baba is doing at this time, no one can do, no one will do. So I get this chance, could be first and last, right? That's what Baba says, as is the end, so will be beginning. Not only just for this body, but in the whole cycle. Whatever is my stage, whatever is my last moment awareness, if it's short, I am full of all treasures in remembrance of Baba. And soul leaves body, soul will be born with this awareness of unlimited treasures. So our thinking is not only for one birth, this birth, but every kalpa. Whatever is my stage in the end of this kalpa, I will begin from there, no, in golden age. Even we all will go home, but when we come back, so where we will begin? The where we ended, we begin that, right? That's why Baba says some are born in silver age because they still had sanskars of battling. So sanskars of battling are not when they are born, but they are born with those sanskars because of the way they left previous cycle. And that is the Baba says eternal cycle. So whatever I have to ordain, let me ordain now. So this realization when comes, today I was really realizing that Baba, the purifier, he's the only one. So take from purifier this blessing, and with the practice, both things are important. Blessings will help you to practice, and practice will help you to receive blessing. So today I had whole day like, Baba, this is only one chance in whole Kalpa to take from Father Purifier this blessing of purity based on my practice of soul consciousness. So I practice, Baba gives blessing because he is purified. So I am making effort to be to purify. So Baba is giving blessing. And then I practice more, then Baba is giving more blessing. And then this purity of vritti and drishti will remain with us eternally, actually. You might say, but in Copper Age, Iron Age, we don't have. But we had, but the percentage kept reducing. If we didn't had, Baba won't be able to awaken in me. All of us, when we came to Baba, we were touched by purity. We were touched by purity. And then actually it becomes so elevated in our life. Level of purity is elevated. Different kind of purity, not only like hermits, but it's living in family, loving, detached. So purity changes into love, purity changes into peace, happiness. So then if I create this self-respect and love for Baba, practice and receive blessing from Baba, then mind, intellect, and sanskars will be very cooperative. Mind will think, and that is where it comes to reformed character. Somebody says, oh, doing this, they forget about doing. I don't even think that way. So like you find that thoughts are cooperating. When I have to discern, I don't differentiate, don't discriminate. My drishti is same for everyone. And that will help soul to create fortune because of our feelings and our good drishti. And then the new sanskar is formed, old is removed. Sanskars play very incognito role. And for self-sovereign, it's very, very important to not only check thoughts, words, but sanskars also. We have column check and change, right? Okay, thoughts you check and change. Intellect you check and change. But what about sanskars? So sanskar also can be I check that this sanskar I have for a long time. That is why I keep getting this kind of thought. When I look at people's behavior, I immediately know that in the past they had something happen, something they are holding, that sanskar is playing again and again in the form of behavior. But that soul has to find that sanskar to be self sovereign and use a virtue to uh, change the sanskar. I like when Baba says, if you are becoming real gold, mm, you will have power to mold. Mold is also transformation. Mold is also you putting something in a mold. Mm. Yeah, you make cookies and you have different kinds of mold, or you all make different sweets, different mold. Mm. So I'm able to mold because I am becoming pure gold. So it's subtle effort, but also that is why the chart check and change is becoming easier, right, for us. First day took long. Second day, yes, better. Today was becoming natural, no? If I want to remain seated on self-sovereign throne and wear the crown of sovereignty, it has its own responsibility. Sovereignty goes with responsibility, no? Sovereign is not a server only. Server can say, oh, I do, don't do. But a sovereign has to do because sovereign has so many cooperative companions, so that everyone has to do it. So when we look at the purifier father, so it's like actually it should take 1 week, right? We get only 1 day. But let's do it one day then. Purify the father, the purifier father, reformed character. So character is that's where our first quality of thoughts. Let's say if maybe some have sanskar, not greed as greed, but some kind of subtle insecurity. So you start collecting, accumulating things that I might not get after 2 years, I might not get after 3 years. So I accumulate. Now this is the sanskar, which makes you act in a way which seems lack of trust or insecure. Yes, it's important. Baba keeps says we all should keep stock of everything. But one is stock, other is possession, right? Or needs. There can be very long list of needs, and there could be minimum. So sanskar based on either greed or attachment or ego has to be, because these traces of sanskars doesn't allow me to create kind of behavior which as Baba's child I should have. So my record, my register, my report mm, has to be consistent so I can be self-sovereign. Not sit on throne, then wake up, then get up, then wear crown, then take off crown whole day. Try to see how long you are able to remain seated on self-sovereignty by reminding yourself of your self-respect. And that self-respect, I really whole day was feeling so good. Self-respect of what Baba is, Baba's titles. Baba also looks at me with that respect, and that is my self-respect. I am master purifier, of course, first for myself, right? I have to purify. Baba will help always, give you power. But if I don't make attempt, if I don't take one step, he can't come forward 10 steps. A step of courage brings help. Yes, if I take one step, Baba will come. But if it's extra courage and take kind of high jump, 10 times will come. Help. And always remember this is the time you can take as much help, no? You want. When else? Create as much fortune now. When else? That is why this birth of confluence age is very valuable. We are not only end of one life, but one end of one cycle creates my beginning for another cycle to come. And this kind of security, we take with us the sanskars. We go home, but then we return with our status, family, everything, which is determined by my stage in the end. So think deeply about self-respect, that is taking Baba's title, and create not only thoughts, but sanskars also based on that. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. So, as tomorrow will be our day 3, we heard from Didi, and now I would like to invite Sister Gayatri for our day 3 homework. Welcome, Sister Gayatri.
Om Shanti, everyone. Just before I take you through tomorrow's homework with tomorrow's Murli, I just want to share with you a little bit of an experience I had of using this process. And for me, why I wanted to share it with you, it's because maybe it is because I'm putting it together, I don't know. But what happened is that the process itself became something, as Sister Mohini would say, natural. And so today I was speaking to two people, two Brahmins, and I was in the intense conversation with them when traffic control came on. And as soon as I went into my traffic control, I realized that my thoughts were connected to something that was waste. I wouldn't say it was ugly, but I definitely would say it is waste. And then in that recognition, in that point of recognition, I said, well, what do I do? Do I stop the conversation? Because it was like in the middle of this story I was telling them. And then I checked inside and I said, well, do I change the conversation or what do I do? And in that moment, the second one of your intellect coming in to kind of guide you. And I said, even if it's waste, I would like it to be loving. I would like my intellect to be loving. And in that moment of loving, I could continue telling them the story, but I could do it from a higher level, a higher vibration than in my soul. And I found that there was such a beautiful shift rather than becoming disheartened or even saying, oh my God, what I did was so wrong, I shouldn't have indulged in a story of waste. And how do I finish the story, but finish it in a respectful manner? And so I realized that, how the mind and intellect work so closely together to cooperate with me. But then the other element was that today is the day for the elimination of violence against women at the UN. And I was asked to do a reflection. So as I was thinking about what reflection I would do, I thought about Kali and Goddess Kali. And Goddess Kali is said to be the one who, she has a lot of qualities as I was thinking about her. But she's the one who actually is the goddess to eliminate evil and violence in the world. But as I was listening to everyone speak, I found myself in my sanskaras, I was becoming a little bit sad with the violence that women go through in this world and are subjected to in this world. And then I remembered Baba says, are you bowing to something in the kingdom of Ravan that is making you lower your head? And I realized this is what I'm doing as I'm listening to all these stories. And then immediately, I kind of physically straightened my shoulders. And I said, no, I cannot bow to it because God is making me the highest and high. And one of the things he's bringing to my attention is the Shakti within, the Shiv Shakti aspect. And he's put that urn of nectar on my head. And I'm about to talk about Kali. So I cannot bow my head. I cannot bring myself down when I hear about what is happening in terms of violence against women. And so I I did a reflection on Kali, but I ended it with Kali has this deep, profound silence, but Kali has a tongue so long that it actually burned the whole world. It set the world on fire. But it was a fire of love, a fire that purified, a fire that cleansed, a fire that unifies. And so I was so amazed at how when Baba speaks to us in the Murli of the day, we kind of will experience something, but it was very subtle. And then if I remember that point, and I remember that, oh my God, it's being applied. Anyway, I'm remembering it naturally at the time I need to use it. Then I know how important when he says, keep a chart and keep listening to the Murlis carefully, because you will naturally use it and you won't even have to labor to remember what to use. It will just come to you naturally. So I wanted to share that with you because I'm finding it very useful. And you may say, yes, you are, because you're putting it together. But that may be so, but it's still very useful to me. So tomorrow, which is our day 3, we are on November 26th, Murli. And Baba, the title that we'll be looking at is Baba as the Purifier Father. And tomorrow, Baba is talking about the reformed character. So the elevated sanskara will be the reformed character. So from the mind, what is it? We'll be checking. He's asked us to do this. Okay, I'll speak a little bit slower. So he has asked us to check many things in the Murli. But remember, I'm pulling out things that I feel we should focus on. And so he's asking us, does your mind sometimes become a slave to Maya? And of course, we all know is that sometimes, no, many times the mind becomes subservient because the senses work so closely with the mind that it enslaves the mind. See, he says, when that happens, what are we changing? And he says, continue to caution the mind. Sit and internally think. I am a soul. And then maintain the happiness. Not just I am a soul, but what kind of a soul am I? maintain that happiness that you are changing from a beggar to a prince. Because when I am enslaved by Maya, at that moment I'm a beggar. So it's not just to say I am a soul, but also I am a soul who's changing from a beggar to a prince, and I'm doing that happily. And then he's asking us, when we're checking the intellect, he's saying, this is what we check. When you're sitting in yoga, does the intellect wander outside? Now, this is, Baba always tells us, look at that intellect. It's a wandering intellect. It's seeking things outside. And so you have to keep it stable. You have to keep it connected. So when I find myself sitting in the remembrance of Baba and my intellect wandering, how do I, and I've checked it and I've seen it, how do I change it in the moment? And then Baba is saying, just remember me and you will become completely viceless. Now, Baba uses these kind of completely things, but you know what he's talking about. It's not that I will become completely viceless in the moment, but I will become completely aware that I am originally a viceless being. So I should be controlling my intellect like that. And so this is why he's saying is that remember the Father, and as you remember the purifier Father, that he's making you completely viceless. And then he asks us, to what extent has your intellect imbibed this point of knowledge that the Father is making you completely viceless? Because what's pulling the intellect and making the intellect wander is a vice of some form that is pulling it away from Baba. And then with the elevated sanskara, he's asking us to look at what he has come to do with us tomorrow, and that is to reform our character. So he was saying, now, it's so simple what he's saying. Someone would say, God has come to reform my characters. So what is the elevated thing I should be working on? What is the loyalty I should have here? What is it? But Baba doesn't take us there. He just says, look and see that you're not making any mistakes. Because when you're looking at your mistakes and you're making those mistakes, it's defining your character for you. And so he's saying, so check. If you've made a mistake, then ask yourself, what is my character like that caused me to make that mistake? The manifestation of that sanskara. And then he said it very beautifully that in order to reform your character, stay on the pilgrimage of remembrance. And in the Murli, Baba keeps saying, anytime he talked about the reformation, to reform that character, he kept saying, you can only reform your character when you're on the pilgrimage of remembrance. So to change that, Baba is saying, the Father, the purified Father, who creates the pure world, has come into the impure world to reform our character. So, it kind of tells us that Baba has come here in this impure world to work with us to re-emerge that original state of our being, which are our divine sanskaras. But he started off with reforming characters. So he is starting with us from who we are now. And then later on in the Murli, there would be a line in which he would say Lakshmi and Narayan had divine characters, but now they are vicious. So I stayed with the reformed character rather than the divine character, because sometimes we think being divine in the here and now is maybe a far stretch. But when Baba says to reform your character in the here and now, it's easier to work with what he's saying. So I hope you'll be able to do this tomorrow, to look at character. When you're looking at character, remember, you're looking at characteristics in the soul. You're looking at personality traits in the soul. And you are, looking at sanskaras that would make us, both our Brahmin sanskaras, the elevated Brahmin sanskaras, as well
as the elevated divine sanskaras. Om Shanti.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Sister Gayatri. That was very, very helpful. And we had been getting feedbacks from everyone that it's really helping them and they are enjoying doing this homework. And now it's becoming more and more clear that what exactly we have to do. So it's becoming more easier. So thank you so much for helping all of us to this homework and taking us into the deeper aspect of Murli. So thanks.
और असल प्योर है और सन ऑफ सुप्रीम को बाप। तो इसी तरह से याद में रहने से फिर हमारा एक्शन भी प्योर रहेगा कि आई एम प्योर सोल नॉट इम्प्योर। तो ये ख्याल रहने से हमारी एक्शन में संभलेंगे जल्दी, कोई रॉन्ग एक्शन नहीं होगा। और जो भी देखते हैं तो ये भी तो सोल है, ये भी तो फर्स्ट प्योर है। लेकिन
Om Shanti. Welcome to Avekti Journey. Today's Wednesday, our sweet Mama's Day. Lovingly prepare a sweet pork dish. So let's see what's new for us today in our pork recipe. Thank you very much. And it's now time for us to say, actually, we have Swaman also for tomorrow, which is related to the homework, which we are doing it.
By remembering the Purifier Father as He is and what He is, let us all practice that I, the soul, am a Master Purifier.
So, by remembering the Purifier Father as He is and what He is, I, the soul, am a Master Purifier. So, this is the exactly what we are taking from our homework as well. So, this is the practice we have to do. And thank you. Now we'll say goodbye, good night to Baba and each other. Let's remember Baba.
Tomorrow. Shanti. Good night.